Remembering the Past by Sharlene Reid. It was a day that I was really looking forward to, and now, for some reason, I was filled with emotions. I stood in front of the clothes hanging in my closet, debating about what everyday clothes I could wear. Posty clothes were no longer part of my everyday attire. For now, since Friday, I was officially retired. I was what a fellow retired postal worker called an old bag. Monday, February the 8th, 2021. I decided it was best to look outside and noticed that it snowed during the night. I opted for warmer clothes, my lighter jacket, which I later removed, and my snow boots. I drove Charlie Puggle to doggy daycare at Paradise Puppies and came home to shovel my sidewalk, my driveway, and then, along with my one neighbor, we shoveled Susan's sidewalk and driveway as she was away. As the snowplow went by, Mr. Powell and I shared a small laugh. In its wake, it left behind a small, new, fresh pile of snow for shoveling. I knew it was a good day to be retired. I chuckled to myself about having chosen a great day to start the new chapter of my life. I settled down with a late breakfast, picked up a book to read, and relaxed. Retirement. I had been with the post office for 5 years in Trail and 27 years here in Powell River, and although not yet 60, I had enough years in with the company to provide me a comfortable pension and health benefits that would give me reassurance if and when I needed coverage for medical expenses. In my career with the post office, I can actually look back and say that was a great job. I can actually say that I enjoyed the job, as each day would bring new adventures, new ups and downs, and memories. Was there one day that sticks out in my mind as to one that I would change if I could? Maybe actually more than one, but I have only chosen 3 over those 25 plus years to highlight as a day that I will never forget. September the 27th, 1990, I was in the Kootenai city of Trail. I'd been with the post office a little more than a year, and the mail route was not mine, but I still felt it was, as I was filling in for a carrier who was on long-term disability. A part-time route, and some of the customers were friends in my life away from the post office, and we would often talk as I delivered their mail. As it was in 2 separate parts of town, I relied on taxi service for transportation between the 2 areas, and I was on a first-name basis with a few of the cab drivers. This particular day, a Thursday, was a beautiful one with warm, late summer sunshine. I unlatched the gate at 1208 2nd Avenue, and I heard the dogs barking at me. They normally were in the house, but that day they happened to be in the backyard, jumped the fence, and before I knew it, they had bit me. I felt numb. I began to cry. That I remember, and also a very unsympathetic pet owner told me to get off her property and never return. As I left, another neighbor saw me and waited with me until my supervisor arrived. I was given a tetanus shot at the hospital, asked to fill out paperwork based on the incident, and given a couple days paid off work. And yes, I returned to work on the Monday, and yes, I delivered mail to that same house on 2nd Avenue for another 3 years before I would move to Powell River. At this time, I do not recall what possible repercussions the lady received, but in time, the fear of being bitten again would pass, and I felt comfortable again about delivering the mail. I don't recall what day it was, but late in January 2006, this time I was a full-time letter carrier and was delivering in Wildwood, here in Powell River. One particular house on King Street had their mailbox at the bottom of a flight of stairs. Tied to a railing on a leash was a small fluff of black fur. It was a kitten, and as I walked up the sidewalk, the owner came out to introduce me to Mr. Sue and I did not know each other and had rarely talked, but she wanted me to meet the newest member of her family. Looking back, I felt that Mr. soon became the bridge that would allow us to become friends. In my travels away from work, Mr. would receive postcards. On the hottest days of the year, Sue would leave me a chilled water bottle in the mailbox. Mr. may no longer be with us, but Sue and I are still friends. My final red letter day I wish to share was the 20th of December 2017, a day that would begin like any other early winter day. Rain had fallen on the Monday, sunshine on the Tuesday, and even more cloud, rain, and even ice on that Wednesday. Despite less than a week before Christmas, the mail volume was considerably quiet, and I was enjoying seeing the sights, lights, and displays and hearing some music as I walked around on my mail route. Remember the ice? Definitely. I fell hard on a wooden step and slipped hard onto the asphalt sidewalk. I sat down on the step and after a few minutes attempted to stand and fell again. The owner of the house, Vicky, heard my second fall and came to the door to see what had happened. She'd sit with me, waiting until I was able to get a hold of my supervisor to report the incident. Not fearing the worst, I surmised that I only had a sprained ankle. However, x-rays at the Powell River General Hospital noted the ankle was in fact broken. The following morning, I was on the ferry to Comox, and further x-rays showed that not only the ankle, but the fibula bone was broken in 2 places in my leg. Screws were placed in the lower foot and also the leg, allowing the bones to repair on their own. And in a few weeks that would follow, the plaster cast became a walking cast, and through hard work at physiotherapy and a graduated return to work, I was back to full-time duties in about 5 months. The surgery would heal my foot and leg, and I am fortunate so far only limited arthritis has set in. Looking back at my career, I had a really good life with the corporation. Those were only a few red-letter days, but it was also a good paying job that gave me the opportunity to travel to places such as Europe, Japan, Australia, and within North America and go coast to coast to coast many times and not just dream about them. The post office was, as I said, a wonderful job, and sadly only by personal choice and the coronavirus outbreak would give me the cause to leave early, although I have never forgotten my first full day of retirement.